Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, April 15th.
It is, and this stay home, work safe mode continues.
We've got the Cookie Monster's help now.
Cookies!
I know.
I love cookies.
He's hosting a weekly snack chat to help kids deal with staying at home during the pandemic.
Such a great idea, everybody. I just love it. On March 31st, they debuted a bite-sized new series called Cookie Monster Snack Chat, just like you said. It has fresh episodes every Tuesday. So the latest episode came out yesterday.
That's right. This is from Sesame Street. Admittedly, the first episode pretty much by the books, according to blogger Mike Pomerantz. The 2-minute Share a Cookie with Cookie Monster invites kids to virtually share a cookie with the furry blue guy, but only after he tells them to please make sure your hands are nice and clean.
So they teach them all kinds of great stuff. I like that this is a parent who said he's used to working from home and that this isn't such a bad thing because he's not used to having the kids at home, right? So when he discovered this, he's like, this is a fun, wonderful way for them to learn something, get involved, and have some fun. Comparatively,
last Tuesday's episode felt a bit more inspired. Cookie Monster showing kids how to make a smoothie.
This was hilarious. Wait, which one are you on right there?
I'm on
smoothie recipes. There it is. Okay, here it is. So it isn't, as he said, the kind of tutorial that's going to have you throwing out your existing smoothie recipes, but if you need a 2-minute jumping off point for fun and healthy activity, he can definitely inspire them to break out the blender.
It's all part of Sesame Street's pandemic-inspired Caring for Each Other initiative, which also includes a star-studded virtual playdate hosted by Elmo, airing tonight on HBO, PBS, and other networks.
I think that is terrific. So once again, you guys, if you're looking for something for your little ones to do, go to the Cookie Monsters Snack Chat. Snack Chat.
Which makes us want to say Snapchat.
Yes, exactly.
We were Snapchat about the snack chat.
Let's do that. But first, let's take a look at your rundown.
While the U.S. debates whether to reopen the economy, new hotspots are emerging from Iowa to Colorado.
Other states are seeing their death tolls peak.
Meanwhile, states that have resisted stay-at-home orders now facing new outbreaks. South Dakota, now home to one of the biggest coronavirus clusters in the country.
U.S. Embassy employees in China were reportedly worried about his safety at a coronavirus lab in China 2 years ago. They had visited a lab in Wuhan that was researching bats and found the disease could spread to humans.
A new fight to help those most vulnerable to the coronavirus. It comes as ABC News learns that 1/4 of COVID-19 deaths in New York have been traced to live-in facilities. In Massachusetts, that number is a staggering 45% of all deaths.
Local leaders are worried about an outbreak at the Bexar County Jail after 6 more positive cases were identified yesterday. 8 people in total have now tested positive in the jail.
Parts of Europe have now partially reopened, including hard-hit Spain, in hopes of reviving the Spanish economy. Manufacturing and construction sites have reopened. A woman battling the coronavirus gave birth while she was in a coma. She had been on a ventilator and her family wasn't even sure that she'd survive.
Google is honoring a range of workers responding to the COVID-19 pandemic in a Google Doodle series. This special 2-week series will thank frontline workers in healthcare, sanitation, food service, and more.
A 99-year-old Brazilian World War II veteran was led out of a hospital in Brasilia yesterday to a chorus of cheers.
Charles Calvin was supposed to get $1,700 from the IRS. But when he went to the ATM, his receipt showed $8.2 million.
Some neighbors in Italy are enjoying drinks from their balconies, and they're toasting each other thanks to some poles that they made. Hey, they're social distancing.
You know what?
Right?
You got to do whatever you got to do.
Here's my question. Where the heck did they get bamboo poles in Italy? Because most of those
poles
a
really good question.
Were like long raw shoots of bamboo. Don't know.
I guess, when you're in these tough times, you find a way.
I guess it grows just about anywhere.
I guess it does. Let's take a look outside. Another beautiful day today. You have any answer for that?
I don't. I had never thought about bamboo in Italy and all that together, but good point. It is beautiful out there. We had a cold morning. Temperatures dropped down to 45 here in San Antonio. We're on our way back up. We're going to see a pretty rapid warm up this afternoon. Right now, 49 degrees, 44 at Kerrville, 43 in Rock Springs. There's a little bit of wind out there, so there is a little bit of a wind chill too. Temperatures today up around 70, close to perfect, and we'll see mostly sunny skies. Let's take a look at those wind chill numbers real quick. Again, not so bad. 44 is what it feels like here in town, 40 in Kerrville, 38 in Rock Springs. This is sort of the end of our chilly mornings because moisture will start to pour in here tomorrow, and then we'll get some warmer readings, especially during the afternoon. 70 degrees again this afternoon, mostly sunny, 65 by 8 o'clock. Northerly winds 5 to 15. Some rain chances mixed in there, too. Maybe some thunderstorms Sunday morning. We're going to talk about that chance coming up here in just a few minutes. Guys.
Thank you, sir. We're looking at 410 and Highway 151. There's 1604 at Houseman. Don't see any traffic accidents showing up on any of these cameras. Construction cones out 35 upper and lower level. Looks like the upper level there at Brooklyn.
New this morning at 9, San Antonio firefighters had to rescue a driver after a crash on the city's west side. It happened around 7 this morning near North Hamilton and West Martin. Police tell us the driver ran a red light and T-boned an SUV. Officers say no one was seriously hurt, but the vehicle suffered quite a bit of damage. Other top stories that we're following today. San Antonio police are questioning a man this morning after they say he crashed his car into a pole. Happened just before 3 this morning in the 500 block of West Cesar Chavez Boulevard. According to police, the driver drove off the road near South Frio. That's when he crashed into a pole in the back lot of the DoubleTree Hotel. Police say the man was detained under suspicion of DWI. There were no reports of injuries. One of our top stories from the early edition of GMSA, a San Antonio firefighter has become the second to test positive for COVID-19. Now, a spokesperson for SAFD says both firefighters who tested positive were assigned to the same fire station, but they did work different shifts. The firefighter in the second case began feeling sick during their shift on April 11th. They were immediately sent home to isolate. Fire Chief Charles Hood said those identified as close contacts are following the recommendations of Metro Health and are in self-quarantine at home. So when will San Antonio reach its peak of coronavirus cases? It's a question we've been asking, and according to Assistant City Manager Dr. Colleen Bridger, we could start getting answers today. Metro Health will begin posting on its website 4 different models, which will be updated as new information comes in. 2 are from UTSA, 1 from an international consulting firm, and 1 is from the University of Washington. Bridger said some data models estimate the peak of infections in our area could happen later this month through mid-May. She also said the models predict total infections to grow between 1,100 and more than 10,000. The date will be used to help the city make data-driven decisions as they continue to respond to the pandemic. This afternoon, we're hosting and broadcasting a virtual town hall with Mayor Ron Nierenberg and local bioscience experts about local innovative solutions. The Alamo City is home to medical and academic research institutions, an innovative private sector, and active military missions. They are all developing technologies to fight COVID-19, so we want to get your questions answered. You could submit them right now on KSAT.com. Town hall starts at 6:30 during our newscast, continues online at our website, also on our streaming app. In your morning headlines, a year ago, viewers were stunned as the Notre Dame Cathedral in France caught fire. Also, a driver goes flying in the middle of a village. All right, and a reporter inside a TV van gets taken for a ride. And talk about a fish story. David Sears is here. Oh, you know he's going to love this fish story.
I was gonna say, you're a fisherman. This is a good story for you.
I'm ready.
It's a landfish.
Landfish.
A landfish, okay.
Hey, a year ago, part of the famous Notre Dame Cathedral going up in flames. The iconic spire collapsed. It was stunning to watch. The reconstruction underway. However, work is getting slowed by the coronavirus. French President Emmanuel Macron says he still plans to reopen the cathedral by 2024. All right, let's take you to Poland. You are looking at a roundabout in the middle of a Polish village. As you can see, not a whole lot of traffic on the roundabout, kind of quiet part of town, not a lot of activity. Things are about to get wild, though. Watch this part of your screen right over here. Look. Did you see that? Car just went flying by. There it is again. Look out. That was a car. Just a car flying over the wall. It actually crashed right next to a church building. Firefighters had to cut the driver out of the car. Excuse me. The police said the 41-year-old was conscious and his life was not in danger when they got to him, but they had to cut him out of that car again. He was hauled off to a hospital. That's just amazing. All right, proof that covering news for TV can be dangerous. A woman in Atlanta arrested for stealing a TV news van with a reporter inside the van. The news crew was covering a wreck. The photographer was out setting up the camera when Saniqua Lunsford jumped into the van and then just took off. The reporter was in the back of the van. She started screaming for help, decided she better seatbelt herself in, and then she hung on. And oh, by the way, she's pregnant. The driver crashed the van. The good news, when no one was hurt when the van crashed. The van thief also pregnant. All right, this is a good one. So what happens when a 6th grader has way too much time on his hands and is forced to stay home? He gets creative. Emil Lev decided to post a sign about his missing fish named Charlie with a warning not to chase the fish because it might act aggressive. And if you find it, it's worth 50 cents. He left an email address. He posted about 40 signs all over town, said he was bored and he just did it for something to do.
It's nice to be able to, not only on your walk with your family, but to see something that somebody created and you know there's probably not a lost fish out there. So it's, you know, it's silly, and hopefully you'll have a sense of humor and it'll make you happy.
Yeah, you know he's going to get some response. So he got an email that said, saw Charlie on Meadow Vista Drive, tried to chase him. He growled at me. Weird. Saw your fish, looked scary, so I didn't approach. Hope he swims home. And then there's this one. We regret to inform you, Charlie has joined the Goldfish Liberation Army and is fighting for freedom of goldfish everywhere. Hashtag bring Charlie home. People were even writing on the sidewalk to help him find Charlie, but, you know, Charlie's all right, I guess.
Since we've got you here, David, and you absolutely love sports, you were mentioning to us a little bit earlier, the White House is about to tap a couple of some well-known Texas businessmen for some of their expertise.
President Trump is talking about hopefully here in the near future get things going again, and he's put Mark Cuban and Jerry Jones on his list of folks that he wants to get some input from about how to bring sports back. And also, I just saw on ESPN, they were talking about, let me get this right real quick, that Dr. Anthony Fauci was talking to Snapchat's Peter Hamby about bringing sports back this summer. He said if it's possible, that his recommendation would be playing without any fans in a stand.
They're talking about doing that for a long time.
Put the players in a very large hotel to keep them separated, test them once a week, don't let them near their families or anything like that.
But they have to have contact. The players have to.
And that's why he says, he suggests you test them once a week because they're going to have player, but when they're not around each other, when they're not on the floor or on the field or whatever, you kind of keep them separated in these hotels, these big hotels.
And we're told, I guess there's already been some initial conversations with some of the commissioners of major leagues.
President Trump talked to all the commissioners of major leagues, and he's going to bring those guys back in again. Adam Silver and the commissioner of football and baseball and WWE and all these commissioners as part of this team that he's going to be consulting with. So
the whole thing, whatever does happen, it's going to have to be kind of a gradual thing.
It's going to be a gradual thing. And you remember early on they suggested that they play without fans. You know, maybe the NBA could continue with no fans, and the NCAA was considering no fans for the Final Four. And it seems like if they want to get back in, that may be the first step. Play, but no fans. And remember, Major League Baseball was talking about having all their games in Arizona because they had 11 baseball fields in Arizona that they used for spring training, and then no fans. So I'd say, Leslie, that's probably the first step if we're going to get back to some sort of live sports. But even Dr. Fauci was talking about how he misses his Washington Nationals.
Yeah.
You know, being up there in Washington, misses guys playing. And President Trump has said, I'm tired of watching 14-year-old baseball games. Yeah. So they want to see some live sports.
Sure.
And they think that would really help the psyche of the country.
Why?
And how many people miss it?
No, we do. At this point, we'd watch dominoes, right?
Right?
Yeah.
And the Spurs would have wrapped up the regular season today. Playoffs would have started this weekend.
Wow.
If the Spurs would have been in it.
Well, that really puts things in perspective, doesn't it, David?
Thanks, David.
Thank you. 9/11 right now, 49 degrees, still ahead on GMSA at 9.
If we weren't in the middle of a global pandemic right now, today would be an important day for Americans. Tax day. Why you should still file sooner rather than later.
Researchers believe measures like stay-at-home orders and school closures may be needed for years to come. CNN's Whitney Wild breaks down why social distancing could run through 2022 later in our newscast.
Good morning, I'm Max Massey, and like so many students across the country, I am learning via a computer today. But what about college applications? We're going to explain after the break.
And bad news, the Dow Jones down 556 points at 23,394. Schools across the country and across the world are having to learn remotely and virtually. But what about applying for college?
It's a great question. Max Massey joins us live. So Max, how has this process been affected?
Good morning, guys. Well, for a lot of students, they got the applications in just before the pandemic really took shape. But for a lot of students, well, there are some more obstacles that they now have to navigate. Now, to answer some of these questions, we are joined here by Ms. Milena, a counselor at NEISD. Thank you for joining us via Zoom. So from your perspective, what are some more of these obstacles that students, at least at NEISD, are facing?
Good morning, Max. From a counselor's perspective, the obstacles are really that everything has really pretty much gone virtual for these kids. Not having us in the office to come and meet with physically on a daily basis has been very difficult, not only for them, but for us. So now they're having to do everything virtually, meeting with their admissions counselors, doing their new student orientations. Everything has gone virtual for them. So that's probably one of the main obstacles that I'm seeing with our seniors.
Now, you are telling me that universities and colleges and schools across the country have become more lenient. How?
Yes, definitely they have. They're really trying to help us with the process. So what they've been doing is they've been pushing back deadlines. Instead of having March or April deadlines, I've seen deadlines being pushed all the way out to July. They're also taking unofficial documents such as transcripts or SAT, ACT scores directly from the counselors, as from the past, that they have to be sealed or sent directly through College Board. So they're definitely helping us in that manner. And they're also reaching out to the kids individually, which is really awesome.
Any message out there for students or parents of students?
Students, parents, please, we are here to help you. I know you can't physically come into our office and meet with us, but know that your counselors are here. We're just a phone call, email, Zoom video away. So please, if you have any type of questions, just give us a call. We really all are available, not only Lee High School, but NEISD. We're here for you, for the parents, community, whatever we can do to help this go smoother for you. We're here. We miss you.
All right, Ms. Milena, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. So there you have it, guys. And earlier today, I was talking to Ms. Milena. She said perseverance is key during these trying times. And if you have any questions, we'll have those answers. Just head to KSAT.com. Mark, Leslie.
It's good to hear, Max. Thank you so much. A little bit of reassurance during a really tough time, a stressful time.
Yeah, I mean, it's already so stressful, even without all this going on. So
exactly.
That is helpful. Very helpful.
Thank you, Max.
All right, let's talk to Justin about our forecast, which is another beautiful day today. And I understand we have another meteorologist, a young budding meteorologist.
Yes, that's coming up at 9:30. And we're excited to see some more junior meteorologists. Right now, though, we're going to jump back in history. We always like to look back a little bit. This was a significant day back in 1973, right around Pearsall. There was an F4 tornado. Now, folks down there, I certainly remember this. And sadly, 5 people died. It crossed I-35, and when it did, some people were trapped in their cars. San Antonio had flash flooding at the same time, but you could actually see the hook echo on radar even back then, 1973. And this image, by the way, courtesy of the National Weather Service. Very interesting to see. But we're not dealing with severe weather today. In fact, we had some cold weather this morning, 45 degrees here in San Antonio. We got down into the 30s in the Hill Country, 37 Kerrville, 37 in Fredericksburg, 43 this morning in Gonzales. We're starting to warm up, though, and that's thanks to that. The sun, it is out, and we will see quite a bit of it today. Of course, yesterday, clouds moved in, kind of kept temperatures down. It was a chilly day yesterday. Today will be a little bit warmer just because I think we're going to see a lot of sun. 49 degrees right now at the airport, 2.37 north-northeasterly winds. Still a little bit breezy at about 12 miles per hour. These winds shouldn't be all that strong today, though. I think 5 to 15, which is a little bit better than yesterday as well. Satellite picture shows we got some thin high clouds, but that's really it. 50 degrees at Port SA, 45 Bernie Stage, 49 right now in Hondo, 52 for our friends out there in Castroville. And you've still got some 40s in the Hill Country, 41 Junction, 44 Fredericksburg. And there's still a little bit of a wind chill out there, too, with those winds out of the north. As you get into the Hill Country, it's going to feel a little bit cooler. Dew points on the low end, we're talking 30s here. This is bone dry air. We've been dealing with this last couple days. Now, we'll start to see a transition here tomorrow. Wind becomes more southerly, and we'll start the process of bringing these dew points up. We'll start to feel more humidity, and then it'll really set in on Friday. Friday and Saturday, it'll be muggy, humid, and we'll probably even see that into next week. So let's take a look at the futurecast here. High pressure is in control today, but as we get into Thursday at 6 o'clock, notice the winds. We've got southeasterly winds now. We're starting to bring in the moisture, and the cloud cover starts to thicken up. So by Thursday evening, we're seeing more clouds. Friday is going to be a cloudy day, and we'll have a cold front to contend with. This cold front should sink far enough south to where we start to feel the influences of it here in San Antonio by the evening hours. That'll kick up some showers, and it'll be cooler and cloudy. Then on Saturday, we get warmer air sort of returning, and that could lead to some showers and storms developing. There's about a 30% chance of rain on Saturday. And then by Sunday, next system moves in. This is probably going to kick up some thunderstorms early on Sunday. I think Sunday morning, we can see a few storms, and then that'll move east by Sunday afternoon. We clear out and warm up. So the weekend has potential to be a little bit busy. We'll keep an eye on it. There are some rain chances there. 70 degrees for a high today. Northerly winds 5 to 15, mostly sunny. 77 tomorrow. Breezy as those southeasterly winds kick in. 20% chance of rain on Friday. 30% chance of some showers, maybe a storm Saturday, and a 40% chance Saturday night, early Sunday morning. And then from there on out, some warm temperatures, mid-80s Monday and Tuesday. Guys.
Thank you, Justin. 922, still 49 degrees.
Still ahead on GMSA at 9. Even though the tax deadline has been extended, you should still try to file your taxes soon. How to make sure you don't get audited by the IRS, coming up next.
Hey, we want to mention real quick that Cookie Monster snack chat we mentioned at the top of the newscast. We wanted to tell you where you could find that.
YouTube is one place.
YouTube channel for Sesame Street. Also
HBO.
Facebook.
I mean, Facebook. Why am I saying?
You were so close, though.
No, it's because on here they have a thing about HBO that they're doing similar things. Like anyway.
Right.
Okay, so Facebook. And YouTube.
YouTube. That's it.
You can find everything.
That's right. Yep. And I'll look on HBO. I'll see what's there too. Okay.
They've got some good stuff on HBO.
Fraggle Rock or something. Hey, the coronavirus has forced many of us indoors, away from restaurants, movies, and sporting events. So what are you going to do with all your extra time? Well, how about your taxes?
If you're owed a refund, get those forms filled out and turned in. And for those who owe money to Uncle Sam, although the deadline has been extended for 90 days, you will eventually have to do them. And how you do them could put you at risk for an audit.
Erica Hernandez has some tips on how to reduce your risk of getting contacted by our friends at the IRS.
Today doesn't quite mean the same thing as it did a month ago. The tax deadline has been extended, but now could be a good time to get to work on those forms. In 2015, there were more than 140 million tax returns submitted, and only 1.2 million were audited. So how do you avoid it? First, make sure you have the right expert. Look for a CPA or an enrolled agent. Most charge by the hour, but if they charge based on your refund, that's a red flag. Avoid reporting a zero income. In 2016, over 3% of returns with no adjusted income were audited. Most importantly, double check your math. It is one of the top errors that has been reported by the IRS. And finally, don't leave anything blank on your form. Add a zero or dash, even if there is nothing to report. And if you are selected to be audited, you will be notified by mail, and you can conduct it either in person or by mail. On average, the IRS has 26 months after you file to request an audit. Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
And traditionally it's tax day, but we do have a tax day baby we want to tell you about today. Happy birthday to RJ Marquez.
Oh, RJ, we love him. I miss seeing everybody around the studio so much and around the station, but everybody's got to be safe.
That's right. RJ, again, happy birthday from our family. You are part of family. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
927 right now, 49 degrees still ahead on GMSA at 9.
Staying at home does not mean you miss everything. In fact, you just open your eyes, you may see something really special. We're going to show you one of the special moments caught on camera by one of our photographers. It is adorable.
Going to the hospital could already be kind of scary. Now imagine not being able to see your doctor because of all the personal protective equipment. How some healthcare workers are making sure patients get to see the face behind the mask. We touched on this last week, but we're going to tell you more about that story coming up.
And President Trump announced yesterday the U.S. would halt funding to the World Health Organization. CNN's Whitney Wild joins us to explain why.
And Transit Guide as we go to break. See how things are looking out there? No Transit Guide. We're going to go to break and we'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody. The United States marks another grim milestone in the coronavirus pandemic. There were more than 2,400 deaths recorded on Tuesday, the highest number of deaths in the U.S. on a single day due to the virus. CNN's Whitney Wild joins us live from Washington, D.C. for one of our daily chats with the latest on how the coronavirus is affecting the country. Good morning, Whitney.
Good morning to you. Well, this is a very grim milestone, but it's something that we had expected at some point. The peak had always been projected to be 2,000 or more deaths in one day. But it's so troubling because that peak comes after days of what appeared to be a downward slope in deaths. So unfortunately, we see the peak now. The hope is that we don't see yet another peak in even higher number in coming days or weeks, Scott.
Well, Whitney, there are now more than 600,000.
Mark and Leslie, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. No, we know you do these for a lot of stations. Totally understand. Believe me.
No problem.
So don't worry about it. But we know there are more than 600,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the United States. More than 26,000 have died. Governors around the country say they need to find a way to safely reopen. So what are some of the governors saying about that?
So they're looking for some key indicators. And for example, Gavin Newsom saying, look, he wants to make sure that particularly vulnerable populations are protected. So that's the first thing. He also wants to see greater surveillance of what's actually going on. So that would mean greater tracing, greater contact tracing, and greater testing. And he needs to see those key data points before he's willing to reopen his economy. He does say, though, once he sees that, he's envisioning sort of a new normal. So, for example, he'd like to see a staggered approach to reopening some businesses, and daily life might look very, very different. In fact, he described a scenario in which someone might go out for dinner, but the waiter would have gloves, have a mask, be using a disposable menu, and about half the tables would be gone to ensure social distancing. So all governors who are really actively discussing reopening their economies are saying, look, this is not something that's going to happen in a few days or weeks. This is going to be a months-long progress toward getting back to some reflection of normalcy, although the reflection will be very, very different, Mark and Leslie.
Or even years. Researchers yesterday getting headlines, believe social distancing may last on and off through the year 2022. Can you elaborate on what those researchers said, Whitney?
Absolutely. That's probably a gut punch to a lot of people who feel like even what they've gone through already is so dramatic and so difficult on them mentally and emotionally. Harvard researchers are saying until there's a vaccine or until there are dramatic increases in critical care capacity and until there's a treatment, social distancing might have to be the new normal until as late as 2022. And they're saying even with a vaccine, that we could see a resurgence of coronavirus up through 2024. So again, these are worst case scenario models. This is the 2022 number was if there aren't dramatic increases in treatments, vaccines, and critical care capacity. Although it is really scary when you consider how difficult it's already been to consider that we might still have to go through this and be aware of coronavirus until 2022 or 2024. I mean, it's really tough to deal with, Mark and Leslie.
Oh, my goodness. There's just so much that changes every day and so much to think about. Whitney Wild with CNN. We really appreciate your hard work.
Thank you, Whitney. Let's go outside with live cam back here at home. Checking back in with Justin Horn. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Looking at mostly clear skies out there right now. Beautiful shot. In fact, temperatures really nice. We're in the upper 40s right now, but we're going to see some big leaps in those temperatures here in the coming hours with a lot of sun out there. Take a look at this picture on our KSAT Connect. This really tells the story. Beautiful sunrise. This sent in by Richard out of Seguin. He says it's warming up. Indeed it is, my friend. Looking at the pollen count, mold at 640, oak at 220. These are good numbers because they're on their way down. Let's hope these numbers continue that way, but this is the first time in a while we've seen mold or oak staying out of the high category. Grass and pine are also in there, but they're low. Temperatures right now, 45 degrees, Bernie Stage, 49, Bulverde, 50 in New Braunfels, 53 right now in Castroville. As we mentioned, we'll see some big leaps here. So 60 by noontime, 70 for a high today. Mostly sunny with northerly winds, 5 to 15. Guys?
Thank you, Justin. Looking for any accidents right now. Don't see any at 10 and Crossroads, nor at 10 and De Zavala.
always makes me want to dance when I hear that little music coming on.
And
So happy.
you're dancing.
Yes, I am. Well, staying at home can help us all pay attention to things that otherwise we may not have noticed.
That's right. For KSAT photographer Bill Caldera and his son William, that is a little bird nest in their backyard. Here's a look at the nest over the course of the stay home, work safe order. It's adorable.
Adorable.
I'm in my backyard, and as you can see behind me, there is a flower pot with a bird nest in it. It's made out of yarn, because I saw the dad bird bring the mom some yarn to put in the nest, and then it's also made out of leaves. And the bird lives in there, and it's laid 5 eggs, and my mom thinks we should name all the 5 eggs the name of the week. I think we should name them Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo. A couple of times we saw the mom and dad bird starting to help each other. We think the bird is called a Carolina wren. It has a yellow belly and it's got brown feathers. It's kind of tiny, like a little chick. They like to eat insects. The camera has showed us some funny things, like the bird hopping out of the nest. He's like, "I'm here to take my picture, please." And he flew away. In the daytime, there's light, so there's color, and you can see the bird. But at nighttime, it's all black and white. I'm William Caldera in my backyard, KSAT 12 News.
He's hired.
He's more than hired.
Oh my goodness, we've got a new star.
We do. Thanks to Bill and Shannon Caldera and their great kid William for reporting there from our Bird Nest Bureau.
Yeah, the Bird Nest Bureau. William, you are a natural. Very impressed with you.
We keep telling you about stuff to do online, especially with your kids, because we're in this for the long haul. We've got another one, and it's San Antonio based.
This is so great. The museum is doing its part to make sure the kiddos have things to do and can challenge their creativity even from home.
They've launched Do It at Home, an online educational resource for families. It includes do-it-yourself activities, storytelling, Ask a Doer videos, as well as printable content. More content being produced and will be shared online weekly as it becomes available.
They said this week we launch our first Ask a Doer video. For example, I firmly believe that scientists are simply those children who never stopped asking why, which I think is true. With these videos, we invite young learners to do that. Our goal is to help satisfy the bottomless curiosity of San Antonio's children, answering questions about the world around them in a fun and engaging way. No question is too big or too small.
San Antonio's museum tells us while much of the material will be original content generated by the museum itself, a selection of externally produced resources curated by the museum's education team will also be offered.
I said we understand families need resources to make home learning joyful, meaningful, and engaging. All of us at the museum are working hard to ensure we help support families as they navigate the learning challenges of the moment.
More about the museum's Do It at Home projects online at KSAT.com.
Yeah, I love how they're coming up with all these ways to interact and connect and keep people busy and learning.
And we need to keep these ideas coming, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Just about 9:40, 49 degrees. You're watching GMSA at 9.
Doctors across the country have started wearing pictures of themselves outside their personal protective gear. We showed you a little bit about this last week. This is CNN's Jeannie Mose to explain how it's helping ease patients' mind as only she can tell it.
We have a bit of a follow-up for you here on GMSA at 9. Ending up in the hospital is scary enough without a bunch of featureless figures poking and prodding at you.
That's why some healthcare workers are making sure patients get to see the face behind the mask. CNN's Jeannie Mose has that story.
How would you like to wake up to this at your bedside? Personal protective gear may protect the wearer, but not the psyche of the patient.
It looked really menacing.
How to even tell your caregivers apart? Just wearing a simple mask on the street, you realize how weird it is that your smile no longer translates. Does this look like a smile to you? So why not add a little humanity so the patient's eyes go from this to this? Respiratory therapist Robertino Rodriguez added a laminated badge, and just like that became
today's hero of the day.
He was memorialized in an illustration. Other medical personnel either picked up on the idea or spontaneously had it themselves. Meet Chief of Medicine Joe Varon at Houston's United Memorial.
Make them smile. Make your patients smile. They're going through hell right now.
At least patients know who they're going through hell with, even if it's just a modest Polaroid. Nurse Derek DeVault vaulted to internet fame. The part-time actor's handsome photo had people wondering, yo, but is he single though? And joking, Derek, all of a sudden I'm weak, help me. But this didn't start with coronavirus. 5 years ago, a California artist was so moved by seeing Ebola patients that she went to Africa and organized photographing medical staff. Mary Beth Heffernan combined heart and art and the patients.
They loved seeing who was inside the suits.
Now, some joke about pretending who's inside the suit. Anyone out there want to buy my idea for a rom-com about a doctor who tapes a picture of George Clooney on his personal protective equipment and the COVID patient who falls in love with him?
Also get a film of the chest, right arm.
This pediatric emergency physician took it a step further, inhabiting George Clooney to get a smile and to give reassurance.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine.
Ginny Mose, CNN.
Now, if I'm laying in that bed and that space looking over, I'm going to be smiling pretty big.
You're going to be a good patient?
I'll be a very good patient. How?
Don't doubt it.
Wow.
Okay, Justin's back now, and it is time for another junior meteorologist.
Yes, we have a new junior meteorologist today, and Violet wrote in about our meteorologist here. Zachary is 11 years old. He loves to tell his friends at school and family the weather. He has autism and would love to be a meteorologist. He says nothing will stop him. Take a listen.
What does that mean?
What does it show?
Rain.
Rain?
Oh.
But how can you tell that it's rain?
Because it's coming to San Antonio. It shows on the radar.
On the radar? But what would you look for on the radar?
Rain.
Rain? But how do you know it's rain?
Tonight we're supposed to get a thunderstorm.
A thunderstorm? Does it say what time? What time do you think?
Probably 9?
Great work, my friend. Great work. Zachary's a smart kid.
Yay! Good job.
I love that he has that passion about weather. And a lot of times, we as meteorologists, that's how we start out. We have that passion. And then next thing you know, here we are.
We're loving this weather.
Yeah, we are. It's beautiful. And real quick, guys, I want to show you some interesting pictures coming out of California. This is a look at the nitrogen dioxide pollution in the atmosphere. Now, cars are a big producer of this, or combustion engines. And you look at pre-shutdown, you look at the levels, and then you look after the shutdown because of COVID. We are seeing less pollution because of COVID. This is one interesting byproduct of all of this. And the air is a little bit cleaner there in California. We've also seen that out in China. So some interesting data coming in here. And this is courtesy of NASA, by the way. Interesting stuff. Let's go outside for you now. We've got mostly sunny skies, some thin clouds moving across the sky. Temperatures at 49 degrees. Dew point is at 37. We've got north-northeasterly winds at about 12 miles per hour. Winds are not going to be as gusty today as they were yesterday, so just sort of a light breeze. But there was enough there this morning to give us a wind chill in a few spots. Satellite pictures show some of those thin high clouds coming through. No big deal. Certainly not as much cloud cover as yesterday. And temperatures 49 degrees at Randolph, 50 New Braunfels, 48 right now in Seguin. We'll zoom out some. There are some 40s up in the hill country. I wanted to show you this. Just an interesting tidbit here. You see that line there, that's some low cloudiness trying to work north, but a very well-defined line of clouds. So Laredo is now cloudy, and we're going to see some of these clouds maybe work up towards Cotulla, Carrizo Springs, but I don't think these make it to San Antonio. We will start to see a little bit more cloud cover tomorrow because we will see an increase in moisture. We're looking at the dew points right now, 30s and 40s, so that's dry air. But by tomorrow afternoon, 5 o'clock, we're starting to see dew points jump into the 50s. That's still not bad, but it's just an indication that moisture is returning. And then as we get into early Friday morning, dew points are back in the 60s and it's feeling pretty muggy. Now there will be a frontal boundary starting to drop in, and that may bring some cooler air in by Friday afternoon, may drop the dew points off a little bit. Satellite picture shows that, well, we've got nothing here, no rain or anything to speak of across Texas. High pressure's in control. Slides east, and so by tomorrow, we're getting more moisture, a little bit more cloud cover. Here comes that front I was talking about, probably moving through, or at least getting close enough to us to kick off a couple of showers. May usher in some cooler air briefly Friday night into Saturday morning. But we'll see some showers and probably slightly warmer air on Saturday. Maybe a couple thunderstorms too. And then on Sunday morning, I think, that's the time frame, we could see some thunderstorms as another little storm system passes by. And then by Sunday afternoon, we're in the clear and temperatures are warm. So a couple chances for rain there. Temperatures today up around 70 degrees, mostly sunny, northerly winds 5 to 15. We'll go 77 tomorrow, breezy, partly cloudy. A little cooler Friday with that front, 20% chance of rain. And we'll get some more chances Saturday, and again, a 40% chance Saturday night, early Sunday morning. And then after Sunday, it clears out and temperatures warm up, mid-80s Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
Thank you, Justin. 9:49 or 9:50, make a liar out of me. 49 degrees.
Change right down there.
Just like that.
You're watching GMSA at 9, and we'll be right back. Here are some of the good stories to make your day a little bit better. Southeastern Grocers, which is the parent company of Winn-Dixie, decided to take care of healthcare professionals by paying for groceries of thousands of shoppers in 7 states during the hour designated for first responders. The CEO says he was inspired by actor Tyler Perry. You may recall we told you about this story. He paid for groceries at 29 Winn-Dixie stores last week.
Love it. A restaurant over in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, had only been open a couple of weeks when the owner had to limit service due to the coronavirus. And even though they've had some setbacks, the owner says it paid off in a big way when a customer left an amazing tip of $1,000 on a $19 check.
Wow. A teacher in California wanted to make sure her student's birthday didn't pass without celebration. So Miss Mallory surprised her students at his home, or student at his home, with balloons and chalk. His mom said he was looking forward to the birthday with his classmates. Mallory is the same teacher who went viral last year when her class put together a song and dance inspired by Lizzo's Truth Hurts.
Hey, reminder that this afternoon we're hosting and broadcasting a virtual town hall with San Antonio Mayor Ron Nierenberg and local bioscience experts to discuss local innovative solutions to COVID-19.
And you can submit any questions that you have about technologies to fight COVID-19 right now on KSAT.com. The town hall starts at 6:30 tonight during our newscast and continues online and on our website and streaming app.
Justin?
And we just jumped up to 54 degrees. We'll be up around 70 today, so just a gorgeous day, mostly sunny. A little bit more cloud cover, a little bit more humidity tomorrow. Some rain chances Friday and Saturday, maybe even into Sunday morning.
Thank you, Justin. We got this next story from goodnewsnetwork.org. The headline, Teens Launch Hotline for Isolated Seniors to listen to pre-recorded jokes, stories, and messages of hope.
This is awesome stuff. This is a team of Canadian high schoolers. It's called the Joy for All, J-O-Y, the number 4, All project. It was launched by the Ever Active Schools Recreational Leadership Program, and they want everyone around the world to be able to take part in this.
This is up a part of the Calgary Board of Education up there in Canada, eh? The youngsters say they created the free hotline as a means of comforting quarantined seniors across North America. However, people of all ages are encouraged to dial 1-877-JOY-4ALL, number 4, in order to enjoy the regularly updated selection of jokes, stories, guided mediations, and educational messages.
I wonder if they mean meditations.
I think that you're right. I bet it's a typo.
Yeah, and educational messages.
Yeah.
So they, that right now, they're updating and pre-recording content until June, but they say if this continues past June, they will come up with more original content. They said a lot of folks who are in isolation are really missing their families right now, so we're trying to fill in some of the gaps and bring them a little bit of joy and levity during these times.
So youngsters are also encouraged to submit their own messages and recordings through the Joy for All website. Just give that a Google.
So Google Joy for All, and let's spread a little joy during this pandemic time.
Shout out to the grandmas and grandpas out there that haven't seen their grandkids. Yeah.
That's a great thing. Thanks for being with us, everybody.
Have a great day.